Hello, my friend. So I'm, as usual, I'm playing a song without making a standard melody, so nobody knows exactly what I'm playing. For you know what the reasons are. So I can always make it up all day, so I don't have to go follow somebody's melody. I can always play something else. So welcome and again tweaking the colors and all that each day. Trying to get this a little bit better. Hello, son. Yo yo flow grow. uh, Let me just check to make sure we're on the correct internet here. We definitely need to be on a VPN to do this particular broadcast today. So I gotta make sure everything is VPN enabled. So hello, folks. So I gotta make sure that I'm also in the center of the pic. Otherwise, then people can't see me on the hello night eyes on the what do you call that, globalist. So welcome. Looks like I'm gonna need some aid here. Hello, Sylvia Sue Lynn. Hello, people. May need some squash aid here soon because no one's coming. And I hope you all have big plans for New Year's Eve. Everyone ready to party for New Year's Eve? I'm gonna have family over. So not too many, but just the family is gonna be over at my house. So I'm not gonna scope at the usual time, but I could probably do some musical thing beforehand since there'll be time for that. So I may Perry NYE already started. So I may just early on just say hi to you guys and maybe play a little bit of music just for fun and try that approach tomorrow, but not at the usual time. It's gonna have to be earlier in the afternoon. So maybe I'm guessing after 5, maybe 6 to 7 or something. Maybe I can play music, and then I'll just do it on Periscope and skip YouTube, so I don't have to worry about that. Wow, look at this. No matter what I do, I keep changing the colors in here, and it keeps shifting back, and I don't understand why. This is one of the things I'm trying to figure out. Just keeps the colors just keep shifting, and I don't understand what's causing that. It's turning me into a ghost, no matter what I do. I don't get it. So tonight the topic is still Google. We've been doing Google for the last few days, and tonight is continuation of that, and about the problem with the problems or no problems using Google. Yesterday I was talking about YouTube, and just to confirm again what the conclusion was from yesterday, in case you weren't following that. So what we determined yesterday was that YouTube actually does not retain the recommendations on a permanent basis. So if you're using YouTube and you're using it for, let's say, watching political kinds of things on YouTube, or if you're showing some particular preference to what you want to watch on YouTube, the good news is, as it turns out, if you clear your cookies, YouTube will basically forget what is in. You have to clear your history. Sorry. If you clear your history, YouTube will forget. Hello, OJs will forget what you've been up to, and then it will start again. I've tried this multiple times. Anytime I get suspicious that YouTube is showing me options that seem to be related to, some specific. You keep mind paused. Yeah. So it's more than that. So the couple things you got to do to make YouTube behave. But it's easy. Since you can do it anytime, and it doesn't seem to be a permanent thing. This is like the opposite of what Facebook does. Facebook keeps everything permanently. So however you behave on Facebook, it will never forget that behavior. That's how Facebook works. Google looks like it learned a little bit, so it's not doing that. So my experience with YouTube, at least specifically with YouTube, is that it's not retaining my activities. I'm able to reset it. So if I'm doing it now, it will remember. Let's say you're searching for jazz, a specific artist. It will keep recommending things related to jazz, but only until you reset the cookies and clear your browser history. So that's good. And also, if you don't clear your cookies and browser history, it will actually cross over account. They don't care what account you're on. So you could be on your personal account and or be not signed into Google, and it will actually continue to track you temporarily with cookies. So that's the main good news that I found, because how many social media platforms do you have where they don't actually attempt to profile you in the way that like Facebook has done. So this is actually, this is good news. Good news. So now what the problem is? The problem is, and there's two layers of this. So Google decided that there's actually two ways they track you. So they decided not to mess with one side of it, but they did on another side of it. So Google decided not to mess with you. So they're not messing with you on YouTube, but they are messing with you through advertising. So they're messing with you through Google Ads, AdSense, Google Analytics, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So make sure you understand what Google does when you go to any kind of website. So that's our topic tonight. Grind Creations only showed up when I put the squash up. What the Zuck? Grind Creations said, I'm not going to go to the scope until I see the squash. So there, the squash is up, and the crowd comes in when the squash is up. It's a natural effect. So what we're going to talk about tonight is a progression. So yesterday we discussed YouTube specifically, and how YouTube does not seem to be tracking us, but we are definitely being tracked by Google Analytics, and then I'll tell you all the bad news related to that later on. So what is Google Analytics? Squash ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't know that. I got an alert about the squash. There you go. So what the Zuck is Google Analytics? Do you guys know what Google Analytics is, if you've ever heard of it? Hello, Pygmy, and all the squash admirers. Do you all know what Google Analytics is? Have you heard of what Google Analytics is? If you don't know what Google Analytics is, type 1. Try some new things like what? Like breastfeeding? That will work. Put a picture of breastfeeding, that'll work. Facial recognition. 1. Joro doesn't know what Google Analytics is. Hello, Kyle. Nope, still trying to fix my scoping issues. Okay, so anyone else who doesn't know what Google Analytics is, type 1 if you don't know what Google Analytics is. So I know, what kind of audience I have here. I don't want to be dumbing down for a group that already understands it. If you run websites, you likely know what Google Analytics is. If you don't run websites, you probably don't know what it is. So if you don't know what Google Analytics is, type 1. So Kyle doesn't know what Google. I'm surprised. I would have thought that most people know what Google Analytics is. Okay, so uh, uh, surprisingly, some people I expected to know does not know what Google Analytics is. One, Daniel does not know what's. I'm gonna go try and find some help to track user engagement. So Ben knows what Jakey Jake does not know. Wow, it's a good number of you don't know what Google Analytics is. Okay, so we'll this. So then I'm not dumbing it down by trying to explain it. Hello Chicago now. So I'm not dumbing it down by trying to explain it. So I will explain it to you. When you have a website, if you run a website or any kind of social media and you want to track activity in it, you can link it to Google. Hello, Mark. You can link it to Google, and Google can measure the interaction and engagement with whatever you block it. I used it years ago. So Google offers a service to see how many people clicked on your website, what pages they went to, how long they stayed, and so on. That is called Google Analytics. It's a free service. Any one of us can use it. All you have to do is insert their code. They give you some JavaScript code. Hello, full gamut that you insert into your website. Many websites have spots for them. If you're using WordPress, there's a spot to put your Google Analytics code. Even if you're using Brax.me websites, there's a place to put Google Analytics code. Use it to fine-tune your SEO. Okay, so Google Analytics is a measuring program. It's to measure. Well, it's not just to measure SEO. It measures interaction. The vegetables are too low on the screen to clickbait most users. It's too low? Oops. Really? It's got to be higher? By the way, we're multicasting on, this is multicasting on YouTube as well as Periscope. And the preview cuts them out. Okay? There we go. Okay, so we're gonna get yes. Google does the same thing on YouTube. Okay, basically it looks like squash. That's what that is. It's a squash. Thick. So here comes the here comes the crowd. Can't resist it. They can't resist it. I'm into squash then. Okay, so people can't resist the squash. The airport in Atlanta is using it for facial recognition, paperless booking, and boarding. They're using squash for facial recognition? Honestly, I thought it looked more like male parts. Male parts? It doesn't look like male parts to me. Looks like squash to me. I don't know about you. It looks like squash to me. Looks like honest to goodness squash. I'm trying to smash squash right now. Okay, so if you're on YouTube, hello YouTube. I'm monitoring your comments on YouTube so I can see you. Let me monitor Brax. I forgot. Again, it's new here, so I'm not. I'm forgetting things. So let me monitor Brax. So we're monitoring. We're monitoring YouTube. We're monitoring Brax.me, and we're monitoring Periscope. So if you have any comments on any of these, we can see you all. Okay. So anyway, so the question that we're asking today is, what is Google Analytics and what does it do? What does it do to you? Does it do anything good for you, or does it do anything bad for you? What kind of mailman did you zucking see? Zuck. Okay, so that's the idea. Bring them in. Maybe they do stay. The fact of the matter is that it does work. They listen to what I say and they do stay. So otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. Okay? Not showing YouTube chat? Of course I'm showing YouTube chat. You mean it's yeah, YouTube chat is on here. Hello, Diane Johnson. Okay, Google Analytics is a code from Google that you insert into your website. For Google Analytics to work, you have to go to Google. Google will say, okay, we'll track your website, but you have to insert this JavaScript into your website. So you have to put Google's program into your website. Well, this is a seemingly benign thing that you are doing, because you're simply saying, okay, I'm gonna put no, that's AdSense, Mike. AdSense. That's the next step. Google Analytics is not yet AdSense. AdSense is when they actually put ads into your website. Okay, that's AdSense. So we're not talking about AdSense at the moment. We're talking about Google Analytics. And what happens is just about every single website in the sucking world has Google Analytics on it. So let's just say that a good number, maybe 98% of all websites have Google Analytics. Okay? So what exactly does Google Analytics do for you, the website owner? It's easy. Yes, I answered you, Diane. Did you ask anything else? You said all I saw was a greeting. Google Analytics tracks where people come from, what pages to look at, and how long they stay. Okay, so it gets you famous? No, it will not get you famous. Richard said, "Oh, if you do YouTube, which I'm doing YouTube right now, you'll be famous. You'll be famous." And I'm like looking at the numbers, and most people on YouTube don't ever get famous. So it's a very, very small number of people that ever get famous on YouTube. So we have a better chance of getting famous here in Periscope. So we're going to focus on Periscope. YouTube is just there to get view. My daughter has been here on Facebook a lot and talking to her friends. Should she stop? Yes, of course she should stop. Yes. Sophia out there zucking up all the data. She thinks she's going to rule the world. Yes, you should stop. Okay, I'm seeing YouTube. This is who's on YouTube here. Somebody just left a comment on YouTube. Was that EJCC on? There you go. So, can't read that, so small. Bratwurst Power is hi Periscope, hi YouTube. Wait a minute, does Zuckerberg read what they say? Yes, of course, Diane. Yes. Of course. I hammer Facebook constantly here. Tonight I'm not hammering Facebook. I'm just talking about Google. But yes, in answer to your question, it's the most dangerous platform in the Zucking world is Facebook. Most dangerous. It doesn't even compare to YouTube. The National Zucking Agency has a direct link to Facebook and to Google, so they can see whatever you see. They have a direct. It's called Muscular. They have a way to see what you put in on YouTube. On Google and on Facebook. Got banned from Facebook 2 years ago for being Southern and conservative. I got a message from my uncle saying he was going to apply for a job with the CIA on Facebook. Mike, do you want to get banned? Do you want to get banned or blocked, Mike? Why did you type that? ZIA. Zucking IA. You type CIA. Can't you read, bro? I read CIA. Mike, you type CIA on there, a bannable offense. We don't type three-letter agencies. What happens to my tweets that I delete? I believe they get deleted, but somebody may take a copy of it. I believe if you delete a tweet, they actually do get deleted. Fine, I'll put the Z in there. He typed it with exclamation mark as an I. Oh, really? Okay, Mike. I didn't see that. It's flowing so fast. Okay, then you're in the clear. Awesome. Okay. Yes, Mike is in the clear. Okay. So Google Analytics was intended to help the website owner. I'm the faithful. Because there's a CJ. There's a there are 8 peering stations, peering stations in the country owned by AT&T, and they specifically read any comments you make on the internet, and they have keywords that they hook onto. If they see a keyword, then they capture the traffic that you just sent with that, and they forward that to Utah data center for the NSA to go analyze, and it pops up on their screens. And if they see it too much, they said, "Oh, we better target these people because they're obviously doing something nefarious." Okay, so that's why we don't alert the AI by typing in letters that'll go into those AT&T pairing stations. I did a scope on that to show you that that's actually, there's an algorithm for it. And they specifically look also if there's IP addresses that are not in the US, and that will even trigger a higher level of examination. So since this is Periscope, many IP addresses here are not US. So we are definitely a big target here, especially if you type, special letters of 3-letter agencies. That's why you don't want to do that. Okay, and it's automated. And somebody said, well, they don't have people, watching that every day. No, of course not. It's an automated thing. And if their AI looks for exceptions and they see the exception, it pops up on their screens, and somebody's monitoring that. And then they said, okay, maybe this guy here requires some surveillance. So that's what happens. Then I become the target of surveillance, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a target of surveillance. So I'd rather not do that. So please do not type the names of 3-letter agencies in here, or I will block you. Okay? So the idea of Google Analytics, hello, Go Rice Girl. The idea of Google Analytics is to help, in theory, help the owner of the website. It's supposed to be a good thing. Help the owner of the website see what's happening to their website. Who's coming, how much traffic you're getting. For some mystery, my sound went out. Hell, I just opened a browser and played the sound from Rex. Okay, so in theory, it's a good thing to do Google Analytics for if you're a website owner. The problem is, how does it impact you as the one going to the website? You see, the website owner doesn't really care about you. You have to care about yourself. So you're wondering now what effect it has on you personally that there's Google Analytics everywhere. Okay, just so you understand the effect of Google Analytics, I went to my app, Braxme, and I'm talking about the website, not the app. If you go to the website on the app, and there's Google Analytics on the website portion, and if you go to the website portion of Brax, I can actually go in there and see who's coming into the website, meaning from not the people using the app, but people coming into the website. Okay, it's really hard to adjust this today. I don't know why. It keeps changing. It's like almost like the lighting is changing. You look like Data from Star Trek. Okay, so I went to Google Analytics, and it actually showed me who was online. So I actually could see, I got so many people online, and I could see what cities they were from. And it also told me a little bit about their demographics. They were male, female, and their age group. Okay? So I was able to see that Ace Hold here is from a certain city, what his age group is, and he's actually 15. And I want to thank you. I've been following since 2017. Thank you, Diane. There's another Diane Johnson, so I get really confused because there's you have a kind of a common name. Because there's another Diane Johnson from Canada, who's an old-time follower of mine. So when you first showed up here, I got confused. I turned the heater on a little bit, then I turn it off. It's getting cold again. So my scarf is over there. Ha ha, couldn't be more wrong. Oh, you're 30. I better fix that right now because I thought I was following. I'm following you now. There we go. You are now being followed. Rob called her common. No, it's a very popular name apparently. Very popular name. Anyway, I was able to now see, and just from inference, just from seeing, who was actually there right now, I can actually identify people who were on the app just from Google Analytics. You're 13. So you can't be on Periscope at 13. So from Google Analytics, I was able to get a sense of age, sex, location, on and on and on. And that's the only portion of the data that Google sends me. Okay? The fact of the matter is, Google knows exactly who you are. Now, let me just explain this again in a little bit more detail. Okay? When you are inserting this little code into a website, 300 pounds. When you are inserting this Google Analytics code in your website, what you're actually doing, and this is the sad part about this, is you're putting a Google spy frame inside your app. So basically, or your website. So let's say if this is if your website is this squash down here. If this is the website down here, this squash, okay? What happens is there's a little window that you cannot see called an iframe, and it's actually Google. So in other words, the effect of putting the Google Analytics on every website is that every website in the world, practically, 98% of the websites would have Google in them. So basically, anywhere you go, you're actually, although you're saying, I'm going to Amazon, I'm going to, clothingsareus.com, you're actually going to Google. Google is a little window in there that is running in the background. Okay. Now, what's interesting about the Google running in the background is actually aware of what's going in the main website. So it's tracking, because you gave it permission, it tracks what you click on the main website. It also tracks when you leave. Okay, so it is able to do pretty much know everything that you're doing to a certain website. And we have all been supportive of this by putting it in every single website we own, because we figure if we put Google Analytics on there and we have AdSense, we might get more money and have better search optimization because of the Google Analytics. And to a point, that's actually true, because if Google can track your traffic, they actually have better search engine optimization. That is actually true. So because of that, we're all forced in some way to put Google Analytics in our website. So for example, on Brax.me, my own app, I have limited, I only put Google Analytics just on the main page. So I don't get a lot of clicks. To Google, I don't get a lot of clicks. So I'm hiding a lot of clicks from Google. I don't show them that people are clicking. So to them, it appears like I seldom get a click because they just go in and they leave. And they don't actually know what's going on because I actually don't put it anywhere, and then I have a robot blocker to block them from going in a place else. So they only see the main page, and that's it. So I actually lose out on search engine optimization. That explains that my search results suck. I'm always home. So the problem that you're not sensing here is that every single website, hello Brax, hello EJ, hello Spirit Gamer, hello on Brax. Seeing your comments, yes. The problem is that now what the effect of this is that every single website in the world is actually now tracked by Google, practically. Like I said, 98%. So Google knows every website you visit and by every, again, close enough, 98%. Google does not have to track your clicks anywhere else because we willingly put in spying software from Google into every website. So they know if you go to a porn site, they know if you go to search for something, they know if you look for a book, they know if you look for sheets for your bed, they know if you're looking for a bed, know if you're looking for shoes. They know all that because we willingly put Google Analytics on each page. Now here's the other part. If you're logged into Google, then Google also knows exactly who you are because you gave them your name, your birth date, your often your home address from the credit card info, and your email. So they know all of that, so they can already kind of classify you. When you go to a website, they will say, oh, you're male, female, you're, and these are your characteristics. Check any page's source code and you find Google or FB Analytics. Okay, so is this good or bad? Yesterday I told you that YouTube is not aggressively tracking what you select on YouTube and attributing it to you as a person. They keep results temporarily as long as you haven't cleared cookies and it's in your history, and they base their recommendations on the last set of things you've done since you last cleared your cookies. So it doesn't seem like YouTube itself is aggressively tracking you. That's the good news. The bad news is they don't have to. The bad news is that Google already knows everywhere you go. So they don't really care that YouTube has to do this. They'll just get duplicate information. So since every website you go to has Google Analytics, they already know everywhere you click. Everywhere. They know you're visiting porn sites. And this actually works. Even if you're on DuckDuckGo or StartPage.com or VPN, they already know what you click. So they have a little bit of a history there. Now I'm gonna make this a little bit more sophisticated for you so you understand the difficulty here, because it is getting very, very difficult to protect against. Okay, so they don't need to care about cookies either. Cookies are not part of this. Just like I told you, YouTube is tracking you by cookies, and then your browsing history, and then from there it determines, what it's supposed to display for you as recommendations. Okay, that's not going to do it anymore, because what's happening is that they're now using browser fingerprinting. Okay, go do your virtual shield while somebody's doing browser fingerprinting. So browser fingerprinting really has no solution. I don't know of one. Okay? So browser fingerprinting is basically identifying. This is why if you really want to track bots and humans, it's so easy to do, because you just browser fingerprint the Zuckers. Don't go full screen. So browser fingerprinting, you can minimize some of the effects of browser fingerprinting, but it's not going to be perfect. Okay, it's not going to be perfect. Online avatar, never give them your info from the start. Video audio skip on what? On YouTube? Video audio is skipping on YouTube? Why is it skipping on YouTube? Am I losing my internet? Or is the microwave running? Is that a microwave problem? Shouldn't be, because I'm broadcasting. No, it can't be. Because Brax Live is feeding this. So it's feeding from a server elsewhere with no microwaves. So Amazon is feeding to Brax Live to YouTube. So that has nothing to do with me here. So I'm feeding the signal to Brax Live. Brax Live is feeding it to YouTube, to Periscope, to Brax. You're going in and out on my end. Jittery chat. He's Asian. His speed would ever slow down. So I don't know. I don't know if the I don't hear the I don't hear the microwave. So I don't know if we are watching on Brax. Brax is YouTube. Find on Periscope. Brax is YouTube. So it can't be. There's the same signal. I'm sending a single signal to all. Anyway, back to what I'm talking about. Same here. Then blame Periscope. I'm not getting any jittery, and now I'm getting it. Now it's happening to me. Now finally it's happening to me here. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what the I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. Okay, it's so much distraction. Yes, it takes me out from my thought process here. Okay, so back to what I'm talking about. So since Google knows every website and everywhere you click, then basically uh, it can identify you, but it can identify you by various ways. One of the ways it can identify you is by IP address. So if and it has that because every website has a little window, and I'm going to demonstrate it to you in a second here. This is what somebody at Google will know about you. Okay, I'm going to pop up a screen here, and we're going to do a geolocation test. This is on Brax.me. This is on Brax.me, and this is actually doing a geolocation test. It popped my IP right there. You can see my IP address. Okay, and then it triangulated my location to 6 feet. Now this is actually not my location. Okay, this is actually not my location. I'm tricking this. I'm tricking this right now. So this is not my location, but there's the IP address and location. So since you're not tricking this, normally for you, every website you visit has that kind of data on you. Okay, it has your IP address, it has your location. It has your location within 6 zucking feet. It's not connected to GPS. Any device that has Wi-Fi will be tracked. That includes an iPad that has no SIM card. It includes a laptop. It includes a desktop. Anything that has Wi-Fi can be tracked to 6 zucking feet. If you have a desktop without Wi-Fi, that would be immune. But any other device that has Wi-Fi will allow you to be tracked within 6 zucking feet. Okay? So it's a very, very interesting thing, and if you don't do anything, it basically now has this information. It now says somebody who lives at this address within 6 feet of this point that they spotted you at. Let me bring that screen again so you can see. Okay, so it finds out that this is a location where you're at, and it's finding out that you're located in this spot, and that's your IP address, and this person is visiting all these websites. Okay? It's visiting all these websites. So your answer now is, okay, do you care that somebody knows what your IP address is and your exact location so that it actually can identify which house you're in? Does that make you comfortable? I'm going to go to Brax.me right now. See if you can find me. I can't find you in Brax.me. This is a special test that I made. This is in whatthezuck.net. This is not part of Brax.me. I'm using test code here, which you can find on whatthezuck.net. You can test this yourself. I don't store the info. Should you clear history and cookies in an iPhone? Yeah, you can clear history and cookies, but it becomes very, very difficult to work with websites when you block cookies. Okay, now so anyway, this is a this location here is fairly accurate. Again, it depends. It depends on a few things like elevation. It might be thrown off a little bit by elevation, but the technique they use is called browser. It's called Wi-Fi triangulation. So Wi-Fi triangulation does not use GPS. It uses the ability of your Wi-Fi to find out the nearest Wi-Fi router near you. So if you look at your phone, it's listing all the routers on there, right? Well, it has the location of each and every zucking router in the world. Google has a location. Google has an exact location of every router in the world. Exact. So all it needs to do is find out your reference point by checking the relative signal between two Wi-Fis to see, how strong the signal is between two Wi-Fis, and they will actually find your zucking location within 6 zucking feet. And they're improving this technology. Newer devices can actually, in theory, can find you within inches. I don't know if that's been released yet, but last year they said that they will be releasing that, and I don't see any evidence that they've. Hello, Brenda. I don't see any evidence that they've actually improved it to within inches. So every website that you visit with Google Analytics can now spot your location, spot your IP address, know every website you visit, and know what you're clicking on it. So apparently that doesn't bother most people, because you say, well, is that a big deal? And you say, no, who cares? It's not really. Does it bother any of you that they have this much information? Hello, Peter. Google timeline that tracks my location really creeps me out. Yes, that's basically it. It's just a history of all the hits that you're getting from that. So does that bother any of you that they are able to do this? And that's why they don't need to track you on YouTube. Now I see why they say, well, we can act like good citizens on YouTube because it doesn't matter. We have all the data anyway. Are you feeling okay? You're looking kind of pale. Yes, I'm looking kind of pale because every time I change the zucking colors, this thing keeps changing the lighting on me, and it's getting tiresome to keep changing it. So I said, okay, let me give myself more color, and then I come back, and then it makes me pale again. So I don't know what to do. Hello, Bob. Hello, Mario. Thank you for the super armor. Bothers me, but what can anyone do about it? Well, first, it has to bother you because it's actually worse than you think. I want to know that it bothers you first. It worries me only if I piss off the government. This is not a government issue. It irks me. Okay, so I want to make sure that you understand that somebody has that information about you. Everything you've clicked on, this has nothing to do with what you search on Google. You could be using startpage.com, DuckDuckGo, and they still have the same information. Okay, and it's kind of hard to evade. I'm going to be honest with you. It's hard to evade. Going to be honest with you. Okay. Now, Google says they have the option. They give you the option to pause it on your Google privacy settings. They give you the option to pause this information so they don't collect it. Is that actually true or not? I don't know, because that's really related to other things. They may pause what they share with other websites. So we don't actually know, and I'm going to tell you why I'm very, very doubtful about this. I don't think that Google is all that heavenly and benign because of other issues that I want to expose you to. Not fair. Okay, I'm going to expose you to some facts about this kind of data collection. Then you tell me if you think that they might keep this data, elsewhere and for a long term, even if you say you're not keeping it. Even if you choose to say pause it on Google. If you're not pausing it on Google, go to your activity settings on Google and you can pause it. And let's all do that. I have mine completely paused so I don't take history, searching, YouTube, preferences, none of that is supposed to be kept. And as far as I can see, they're actually following that from what I am able to see. I don't know what they have in the background there, but from what I'm able to see, they seem to be respecting it versus Facebook. Facebook does not respect our privacy in any kind of a way. Facebook doesn't seem to care because Zuck himself has the attitude that I don't care about your Zucking privacy. It's not important. Now I'm going to show you what happens. You pause it on your Google account. This has nothing to do with phone or laptop. You pause it on Google. You log into Google and they have something called activity on there. Then you can pause the activity. Let me see if I can find that because I don't want to show you my login here. So let me see if I can show you where it is. Thank you for the new subscriber on my YouTube account. My YouTube is Rob Braxman. Thank you for following me on YouTube with Rob Braxman. Okay, so I'm going to show you my screen here on Google, and there is watch history, search history, community, and live chat. Manage all activity. Okay, there it is. Okay, and this is where you can manage your activity and pause it. Activity controls. Okay, let's click on that. There we go. This is what you're looking for on Google. Activity controls. So log into Google with your Gmail account and look at activity controls, and this is what you have to all pause. So all of mine is paused. Okay, so make sure you do this on Google. They did this for GDPR, but it benefits all of us, so might as well use it. Okay, so just to read to you some of the settings here, you can pause web and app activity, location history, device information. Well, pause means until you turn it back on, which I will never do. Voice and audio activity, YouTube search history, YouTube watch history. So you can pause all that. Okay, mine is all paused. Okay, so I recommend that you do that. Now here's something that is very interesting that I want to show you. Okay, what am I showing you right now? Yeah, you should pause your history also in Windows. That is a very tricky one. What am I showing you right now? This is the danger side of Google. The danger side of Google. Now, what you are looking at right now, folks, is how Google uses your data using something called Jigsaw. Google is using your data. So all that stuff that is being collected about all of your clicks and all of your presence everywhere, all of your search activity. Somebody said, how does this affect me? How does this affect my privacy? That's probably Google Home and all that, Mario. any of the commands, echo equivalent. Google Assistant, that kind of thing. What you are looking at, folks, what you're looking at is Jigsaw, and this is the ARM. This Jigsaw is owned by Google or Alphabet Company. It's an Alphabet company. That's the website, Jigsaw. Okay, now what exactly is Jigsaw? So Jigsaw was made to weaponize the data. See, some people have come to me and say, why do I care if they're collecting the data? Why do I care? I'm just, so my data is visible to Google, so what? And a lot of you have come to me in the last few days and said, we don't really care that Google and Facebook are tracking us because it doesn't really seem to affect our lives. Well, let me change your understanding of that, because there's a company, and there's a couple of companies I will mention tonight. There are many more. But the two different companies that are doing this, one is called Jigsaw and the other one is called Palantir. These two companies have one interest in mind. They want to collect all of this data and use it for control. They want to use the data to control you. So this is not a matter of just saying, oh, the data is just kept there and it's all innocent and you want to use it for advertising. This has nothing to do with advertising. This has nothing to do with advertising. What they're doing here is saying, how can we use the data to manipulate you? And the innocence of the zucking millennials who come into my scope and say, we don't really know what this data is going to be used for, and we are critical thinkers, and we understand that there's really no negative effect to this, so zuck you, Rob Music. Zuck you. This is not important. So I'm telling you, because you're zucking dumbasses, you don't know what's going on in the world, I'm telling you right now that there are companies that are weaponizing the data. If you know what the data is, what you could do with it, then you just imagine it. Well, somebody did imagine it, and they're using it now. And I'm going to tell you one of the uses. Okay? So basically, they use this to feed the zucking AI. Artificial intelligence. They do this with zucking AI. Now, some of the projects that they did with Jigsaw sound very positive to society. They sound like very positive things to society. I'm going to give you examples of some of these projects, okay? Some of the projects they did is, let's see. Okay, here's one. Abdullah X. Look at this one on here. The Arms Globe Syria Defection Tracker Against Violent Extremism Network, Abdullah X Blackout Constitute Human Trafficking Hotline Network, Uproxy. These are supposedly the positive uses of tracking what you do. So basically, this is what they're doing here. So you understand this, because you some of you don't understand what the effect is. They are finding who is a extremist. They're trying to track by your activity on the internet if you're an extremist Muslim. And if they find you to be an extremist Muslim, they change the way the internet looks for you. So when you go to the search engine, there are things that you're looking for. If you're looking for Al-Qaeda, you're not going to find it. You're going to find something nice. So they're removing extremism by preventing you from finding extremist kind of views on Google if it determines that you are pro-terrorism. Okay, so again, think about that. Think about that and you say, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's awesome. That's awesome. So basically, Google is saying we are using the AI to find out a certain class of people. In this case, they're finding a class of people who are have extremist Islamic views. And by finding these extremist Islamic views, not only do we identify who they are and maybe give their names. Hello, Patricia. Give their names to three-letter agencies. But on top of that, they're going to now say, oh, we are going to alter the internet for you by altering what you find when you search. This is all made possible by Jigsaw. Happy New Year, Waypoint. They made possible by Jigsaw. So exactly what happened here. Okay. What happened here is that Snowden revealed this, as actually Snowden was the one who actually revealed that this was actually already in use many years back even. And what they did was they used it in the UK by GCHQ. This is the NSA of Britain is called GCHQ. So GCHQ said, let's manipulate the population by seeing if we can track the Muslims in the UK and then change their view of the internet. So they go to so somebody goes to do a search on Google and they find different results because they've been identified. Okay. They actually did this. This is one of the first test sites of this because it was revealed by Snowden. It's one of the things that he revealed that they were actually doing this. And here, in fact, you can see that this is the kind of stuff that they were doing. Abdullah X. So we work with former extremists from the world to find ways to break the cycle of radicalization. And this is where they are showing you YouTube videos to influence you in a positive way, supposedly. Okay. Now, again, you look at some of these and you say, this is awesome. I mean, look at all the stuff they're doing here, and it actually is for a good cause. And you're going to say, I don't see anything negative with this. Exactly, because you are basically seeing a weapon. The weapon is information, and you are you see the weapon, but you don't understand how the weapon is used and who it's used against. So if you are a Muslim, this is made to target you. If you are not a Muslim, you're going to say this is awesome, because there's nothing negative for you if you're not a Muslim. Okay, so that's going to be the prevalent opinion here. But let me just show you how there's actually nothing here in the AI to distinguish between who the target is. Whoever makes the AI can change the target, can say, okay, we are going to target Trump supporters. There's actually nothing in here that says they can't target any group. Any group. And they change the way that your search engine works and whatever works based on how you behave and what they know about you based on what you click on the internet and so on. So, one of the things that they've actually used, and this is used currently by the New York Times and by Facebook. This one is called Conversation AI. Conversation AI. Let me tell you about Conversation AI. This is an example of how the AI is used to control us. Okay? Conversation AI is used by the New York Times. So what happened here is that they have gotten so sophisticated here that the AI can actually find out the context of the conversation, even if you're trying to be, even if it's a parody, even if it's being sarcastic. The Conversation AI has gotten so sophisticated it actually is able to spot all that with 98% accuracy, somewhere around there. Okay? Between 95% or whatever. It's able to actually understand the context of the discussion. So where they use this is, if you look at the bottom here, it says the challenge is online harassment. Kind of cutting the screen here. There. The challenge is online harassment inside Google's Internet Justice League and its AI-powered war war on trolls. Okay, so there's the problem is online harassment. So the solution, they said, is okay, let's use AI to change what is posted on the internet. So this is now being used actively today, announced in the press a couple of years ago. It's being used by the New York Times and Facebook. And what they do is they're now altering the conversation, and if they find that you're speaking against outside of the rules of the AI, they delete your comment automatically. Okay, they delete your comments automatically. The AI now decides what you need to hear. So if you're like trying to say something, as you know, the New York Times is a liberal establishment, so you can pretty much guess what the AI will filter. Obviously, the AI will filter anything against what the New York Times believes in. Okay, so it doesn't matter what the context is. If you happen to be making a conservative kind of publication, and then you want the AI to now filter out all the liberal kind of points of view, then you can do so with this kind of programming. It doesn't distinguish. It's a weapon. It can be used for any purpose. It doesn't matter what the purpose is. It can use it and can automate it. Somebody said to me that, hey, I don't get to, this doesn't affect my life. You know, this all of this stuff with the data stealing and everything that's happening to me on a daily basis as I use social media and use Facebook. Wrong. Because what happens is programs like Jigsaw, apps like, or applications or databases like Jigsaw actually know everything about you. Even before you click, they already know who you are. And they can say, okay, we want to change what search engines show. We want to change what text we show you. We want to remove certain things from what you see on certain websites because we know who you are. And you're saying, this doesn't bother me. This has no effect on me. It's like, Zuck. What happened to sucking freedom? So if they don't want you to see, let's say you're a supporter of, InfoWars. Let's just say, and some of you hate InfoWars. So let's just pick on a supporter for the moment. Okay, so for a supporter of InfoWars, they can say alter the internet so everything in the search engines show everything negative about InfoWars, and they start hiding anything that's positive about InfoWars, as an example. Or the reverse, depending on what they want to do. It depends on who controls the AI. In this case, the AI is controlled by Google, so Google decides what you're going to see. Google decides that. Now, is that good or bad? That's up to you to judge. The point is, they can do it. Let's just say, for example, that they have a point of view. Let's say Google's point of view is, we want, more people from India in the U.S. Okay, so let's be specific like that. We want more people from India in the U.S. So could they alter what you see on the internet so it's biased towards wanting people? It starts to promote a culture and say, oh yeah, let's make Indian culture very popular in the U.S., Bollywood, and so on and so forth. I just made this up, just kind of a stupid example, but it kind of shows you that if I change the internet and make something popular artificially, then I could in fact perhaps change opinions, because I have the data, and then I can actually do a test marketing and say, okay, to this sort of population, this may be the effect. To some, it may have this effect. And let me just tell you how this has already been used. This kind of weaponized data has been used by Cambridge Analytica, which was, big in the papers, as you know, because it stole the data from Facebook. I've told you 2 years ago how it was taking the data from Facebook and how it was doing this. Now, given the scenario, let me show you my face now and put that to rest for the moment. Given the scenario of weaponizing the fact that they know, if they know everything that you like, dislike, what kind of things can be used to influence you. What would happen if a company like Cambridge Analytica has an idea of every personality of every single person in the U.S.? And in fact, that's what they came up with. Using your social media data, it was able to find out the personality profile of 200 million people in America, which means pretty much everyone who votes, just from being on social media. 200 million. And you don't think that's a problem. So what they can now say is, okay, we know the personalities of 200 million Americans. Let's see if we can manipulate. We can see if we can manipulate you now by, let's do some test marketing. And they, at the time that Cambridge Analytica started, this was kind of a new thing, and they weren't that sophisticated yet. Okay, but now here we are in a different time, and they've had time to research and test out some of these concepts, and now we now have perhaps more focus groups have tested what actually works, what messaging works, even subliminal messaging, what kind of messaging works in this population. We've basically armed them with a way to test this. Okay, my niece, who's a millennial, a young millennial, my niece is a young millennial, and came to me and said, I have critical, they're gonna be staying at my house starting tomorrow, so I better get it out now because they might hear me in a broadcast. So I'm not. Hey, Smarty Bob. I'm gonna tell you now because I can't say this when she's here. Because they may be watching me from across the room here, starting tomorrow. So goodness, the colors keep. You see how the color keeps changing on the video, and I don't know how to fix it. It's like in the middle of a broadcast, it keeps changing the colors. I don't know how it does that. I mean, the lighting doesn't change, and it changes the, turn me into a ghost, turn me into black and white. I don't get it. Okay, so my niece came to me and said, I'm basically, she said to me, I have critical thinking. Just tell us the facts, and we'll we can analyze it for ourselves. And at the moment, I don't see any problem with the stealing of the data. So unfortunately, the hello, iSocialFit. Unfortunately, the idea of stealing of the data is of no particular importance until you understand, if you're in the industry of data mining, what you can do with the sucking data. And the problem is, most of you don't understand what you can do with the sucking data. Well, these companies, Jigsaw and the other one is Palantir, are in the business of analyzing data, and they've actually gone so far as to offer pre-crime services to some cities. So Palantir is one of the other weaponizing companies, and they're offering pre-crime services to cities. And our answer is, nothing wrong with that. Kelp said that's a pretty good thing. Pre-crime, yeah, that's a good thing. So if we know you have a propensity for crime, let's put you in jail now. Put you in jail now. Who cares about your civil rights? That doesn't concern us. We want to worry about the majority. So we don't really care about your Zucking civil rights. If we think you're going to be, if we want to control the vote because we want to remain in power, let's go blackmail and influence the people who are going to vote against our preferred president. Oh, Kelp, if you're a terrorist, I'm not yet a terrorist, but according to Kelp, if you even have the DNA for being a terrorist, you're zucked already. You haven't even done anything. This is the zucking, foolishness that Kelp thinks. Okay, pre-crime. I said pre-crime. You haven't committed anything. You haven't done anything yet. They've actually used this actively against, there's a lawsuit, and this relates to I believe the FBI. Okay, this is the FBI. So the FBI actually took a person to court, to jail. The FBI arrested some individual, some black man in Texas, for making some anti-police comments on Facebook, and said that this person was inciting violence. So this went to court, by the way, and the court said, yeah, he's mad at law enforcement for some of the events that happen with some of the profiling that's happening in law enforcement against black people, but he did not incite violence. So the FBI lost the case. But this guy was in jail for a while, and he suffered from it, lost income and so on. And he was, there you go, there's Kelp. So he basically lost the right to free speech because the FBI decided, unlawfully apparently, because the court decided that it was not valid, that he was arrested for saying something that the FBI did not like. He did not incite violence according to all the documents. But this is the idea of pre-crime. It's like, hey, if you have a preference for a certain group, then that would put you in the pre-crime category, and then we should judge you. See, though I don't, I would never side, with people who are against police and so on. I would, I would be a big supporter of police. On the other hand, I would not stop somebody from speaking out. It's not my belief that I should cut down your freedom of speech just because I don't happen to agree with you. I think it's wrong to curtail somebody's right to freedom of speech just because we don't see eye to eye on some of these topics. Because that's why we're in America. So basically these little apps and things of data collection and weaponizing the data about you is saying, well, we can circumvent, the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and all this by changing laws so we can shut you up. We want to change the rules of the game so we're able to shut you up. And that really bugs me. It really does. And even for somebody like me who would never say anything that's, against law enforcement, I'm bothered by the fact that, somebody is prevented from speaking legally. It's within his rights based on freedom of speech to speak about some of these topics, and we're saying we can't. So if a legitimate complaint exists because somebody did actually discriminate in a certain case, then apparently we're not allowed to say that. Apparently we're not allowed to say, hey, there are some law enforcement people, maybe a minority, maybe a small minority, who are actually, who are profilers and who actually are racist. If we follow you, won't they flag as being insurgent capable? I am not an insurgent, easy. No. I only talk about privacy. I'm not an insurgent. My political beliefs are pretty much middle of the road. Okay, so will you be flag for following me for what? Because I'm a middle of the road thinker. I'm a middle of the road thinker. I am not an extremist on either right or left, and my side is freedom of speech. My side is freedom of speech. I like people to be able to speak. Whatever opinion you have, if you're on the left or on the right, I respect what you say. And I want you to respect other people also in what they say and allow both to speak. I allow you to speak, and on the other side, you should allow them to speak, whatever you believe in. That's my thing. I believe that the balance of society, is going to improve if we are able to express that in an open form. You can see them posted on the screen. No family secrets here, and like Rob says, Google knows it anyways. So anyway, yes, please follow me on. I'm on YouTube right now, broadcasting on YouTube under Rob Braxman. I'm here as Rob Music here on Periscope, and then on Twitter I'm Rob Music 0. Please follow me on all those platforms. Rob Braxman, Rob Music 0 on Twitter, and Rob Music here on Periscope. You will. So Rob Music 0, I'm Rob Music here, Rob Music 0 on Twitter. I haven't really been promoting my Twitter. I'm losing followers. Doesn't Google own YouTube? Yes, Google owns YouTube, yes. So, then I keep repeating that? Yes. Google owns YouTube. I don't know what's happening with the lighting here. It likes to change the colors depending on how I shift here. Maybe if I move my body around, it switches colors. I don't get it. It's not very clear to me how this is working here. It seems to be screwing me up. Anyway, so I'm very concerned about the weaponizing of this data, and the fact of the matter is that to put a little bit of a summary in what I'm saying here, I have found that contrary to what is done on Facebook, I have found that Google's YouTube itself does not seem to be doing anything elaborate to track what you watch on YouTube. Okay, should have been here during the closure and dispute comment section. Was brutal. Where was that? Where was that, Chief? Where that happened? Did it happen in Periscope? I'll say it, the lighting sucks. The lighting keeps changing, and I'm like, without changing lighting, why would my camera change the effect? I don't get it. So there's something, it's almost like temperature based in here. You're still here. Back when close started on here, and Brax. No, I'm talking about now, Chief. I thought you were saying something new because there's obviously something new going on, and it disturbs many people. Maybe you need to change the tube on the TV set. Usually it goes out and affects the color. There is something new, Chief. There's a lot of things new. Are you still watching? You still watching that? There's a lot of things new. I've been watching VNN, Vicious News Network. Do you see less of this tracking for fee service in general? I have no idea. If I ignore those two groups, okay. If you ignore them, then you're better off. Okay, yeah. It might be better for you just to ignore. So I ignore too. I'm so late. What is happening with Google Analytics? Yeah, it's probably better to just ignore because it will just raise your blood pressure to think about it. So I don't want to think about it. So I'm choosing to ignore. Otherwise, it will become the focus of my broadcast. I don't really want that to be my focus. Okay, so I see some pixelization around. My gosh, so much criticism. Yes, it's has to do with lighting. Yes, it has to do with lighting. Nothing, Kelp. Maybe you. Maybe we ignore you. Anyway, pixelization tricks AI. It has to do with lighting. Experimenting with lighting levels and see what works. Stop worrying so much. I'm not the guy worrying so much. It's the rest of you, like interrupting my scope and saying there's pixelization in this corner and all this. And it's like, I'm just kidding, Kelp. You didn't do anything. Just because you're being nosy and I don't want to discuss it. Every day I drive by Google Office. I flip them off. Well, YouTube is, fairly close to me. I can go drive by YouTube and they probably... I was saying to myself, should I scope next to YouTube? And I was thinking that YouTube probably has surveillance cameras right there. I don't mind candles. I don't mind candles will be okay. Everyone chilled. Thus, is Periscope not a Hollywood-produced show? Exactly, Levendi. What is a little pixelization gonna do to what my topic is? One comment an image will be accused of color blindness. Okay, so basically, to summarize what I'm saying, I'm extremely concerned about the data collection and how it can be weaponized. And although YouTube itself is not tracking us, YouTube is not necessary for Google to track us. They have other ways to track us using Google Analytics and tracking us through all of the other identifiers been identified by Google Analytics. And we have now to spend so much time trying to evade that. And it's really bugging me because some of it is very difficult to evade, such as when they use browser fingerprinting. It's very, very hard to evade. So it can be evaded, but not easily. And my only answer is we got to fool the AI. We got to fool the AI in some way. But in the meantime, what you do is you go to Google Activity Controls. You go to Google's Activity Controls and you turn off the activity controls. So type activity controls on Google and there you go. So on your Google account, pause all this. The only option it gives you is to pause it. So pause it all. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see if, do they collect less information on us if you pause it. Do we actually believe them? Well, if you live in the EU, you have to believe them because you can sue them if they're faking this. If you're in the US, I'm not sure if I can believe this. So, because it's probably more trouble for them to do it otherwise, I'm saying pause it. They probably have a number that says how many people are actually pausing it. Let's all pause it. If you're not pausing this, then I don't know. That's you would worry me if you don't pause it. So I recommend that you all pause it. It would shock me if you're not. Will I be able to use your Google Map then? Yes. Yes. It everything still works, but it just doesn't collect it. Yeah, everything still works. They just don't collect. So, I'm always worried. For example, if I'm using Waze, does Waze then get collected? Because Waze is Google. So I'm really worried about some of that, and I'm worried about what I do on YouTube. Well, less on YouTube. I'm more worried about what does it know about what I'm clicking on, especially since I'm in cybersecurity. Will be Zuck here in the UK because of dumb Brexit voters. More important to flip off FB. FB is, FB is a lot more dangerous uh, than Google in my mind, because Google doesn't give us, Facebook doesn't give us this kind of option to pause collection. They don't. You cannot erase your data on Facebook. Hello, twin mom. Seriously, I can't. This Zuck is really such a sick individual to be. In my mind, Zuck is like, it's really sick, because he said, "Well, I'm not going to go follow any of this. My interest is to collect as much data as I can, and I don't really care about any of you. We're going to do facial recognition. We're going to track everything. We're going to keep everything forever and ever." They didn't change their terms of service. They still keep the data forever and ever. I read it again, and nothing has changed. They still keep it forever and ever. And they'll trick you in saying, "Well, we delete your account." Oh, really? It says in your TOS that you're going to keep it forever and ever. Yes, it's in small print. And it's really made to be confusing. So if you're not a lawyer, you're going to look at that and say, "Oh, what does that actually mean?" Well, I'm going to translate it for you. They keep your data forever and ever. So it's extremely. If I were to compare social media, Facebook is an extreme. It's an extreme because they actually don't believe that you have any rights to privacy whatsoever. They just don't believe in it. Zuck himself doesn't believe in it. And so I'm actually wondering why iSocialFit comes to my scope and doesn't use his real name. His real name is Alex. Why does he put his last name in here? He should believe what Zuck believes. Zuck believes that you should be open and put your first name and your last name. So Zucking iSocialFit is not putting his real name in here. He's not following his leader's command. He comes in here as iSocialFit. Well, just put Alex. What IG is dangerous because it's tied to Facebook. It's longer than the Bible. IG is tied to Facebook. Therefore, all they have to do is connect it to your Facebook account, and then whatever you do on Instagram, they'll be able to track based on your Facebook account. That's one of the things, the advantages for them to own WhatsApp and IG. Because then they track you on Facebook. Now, what happens if you don't? Why don't you put your real name here, iSocialFit? Alex, come on, you believe, you believe your buddy, the man, Zuck the man. You believe him. He doesn't want any privacy. Why do you believe in privacy? You apparently do believe in privacy. You use a VPN even. Okay, why do you believe in privacy? Are you disagreeing with your boss? So iSocialFit is not a complete believer then. He actually doesn't completely believe his boss because he doesn't want to put his name here. Yes, Alex. iSocialFit Alex. So Alex, why don't you put your real name? See, iSocialFit is actually a supporter of mine. Alex works for Facebook. iSocialFit is an actual supporter of mine. That's amazing. He actually believes in privacy like Rob Braxman. He doesn't believe in the lack of privacy like Zuckerberg. Very interesting. There's dissension. There's dissension in the ranks of Zuckbook. There's dissension in the rights of Zuckbook. It's just exactly what the problem is. This is the problem. I think that iSocialFit iSocialFit is actually a normal individual because he believes in privacy. iSocialFit actually believes in privacy. So now, if you can only convince your boss that Facebook should believe in privacy too, Facebook might actually survive. At the moment, I'm actually wondering now. Oh, shock. Kelp is shocked. So, I don't know. You guys are like, it's craziness. Alex said your real name is, did you see that? Alex said your real name isn't that obvious, Levendi? How many times have I repeated that? Do not use your real name on social media. Is that a big mystery? Will the real Rob Braxman please stand up? I am the only Rob Braxman. If you go to YouTube, you put Rob Braxman, I come up. You go on the internet and type Rob Braxman, I come up. Okay? Remember the text on FB bathroom. DuckDuckGo could build a social network. I already built one. It's called BraxMe. People actually thought that your name Rob Braxman. Hello, Oliver Braxman. Well, and people actually thought your name is Alex I Social Fit. They actually believe that your name is Alex I Social Fit. So this is funny. Zuck is the Third Reich. The brown shirts are getting ready for mutiny. Alex short for Alexa. I didn't think he would do that. You are seen. I didn't think he would do that. So why would you need to? It's called disinformation, Kelp. Maybe you should learn from me. It's called disinformation. It's kind of hard to do. Hard to do. Hello, Interior Ninja. How are you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's hard to do. You can't. You have to plan it out. It's not something you can do. My name is like, hello, Chief. But you are seen. You're wearing a mask. Are you wearing a mask? So yes. What do you see? Do you find me on social media with my face with any other name? No, you look at my name. You search my face on Google reverse lookup images, and you will see Rob Braxman. Kelp's real name is Opie. Oh gosh. So anyway, I'm hopefully getting you to start thinking here that yes, there is an effect to the data collection. It's not benign. There are companies intent on using this data to manipulate us. They already are doing it. Cambridge Analytica was one of the more obvious ones. Palantir was using it to do many things, and one of the other uses that you are only starting to get now is how it can be used to manipulate the stock market. How it can be used to manipulate you. By manipulating you, they make money. Okay, because the people who have the information can figure out things about what you're going to do, which may cause them to predict what's going to happen in the stock market. Amazon already has everything on you. I didn't realize that Amazon was in social media. What does Amazon have on me again? Is Amazon social media? I didn't know that I express any kind of opinions, on Amazon. I wasn't aware of that. Amazon is a social media platform. Really? So I'm uploading photos to Amazon? I'm not uploading my photos to Amazon. I'm not sending it. Obviously it knows where to send the packages I buy. Okay, that it knows. But I'm also using a VPN. Alex said Facebook has your real name and they're going to reveal it. Litigate then if they do. Alex said Facebook has my real name. Yes, of course. I have a Facebook account. I had a Facebook account. They could do that, yes. That would be interesting, yes. I guess I could sue them for that. Is his name Adolf? What is the name, Jigsaw? I need all the names so I can get that link. Jigsaw.google.com. The link that I showed you is jigsaw.google.com. That is jigsaw.google.com. Hello, Lenny PR. How do you know iSocial works for Facebook? Your purchases, your reviews. I don't do any reviews. Your searches, your credit card. I erased my searches. Your credit card, your address, and now with I don't use Alexa. So it's jigsaw.google.com. I don't use any of that. So yes, it knows somebody like me, and I don't link Google to. I don't use Gmail on my Amazon. I don't use Gmail on Amazon. So what do you actually? So what do they have? I don't like what they have, but it's it's not gonna kill me. They don't know what my political beliefs are. They don't know anything. Guess why? Because Amazon doesn't let me buy guns. If Amazon let me buy guns, they might know more about my beliefs. Does it make a difference if changing real name or social? Yes, it makes a lot of difference beyond. A lot of difference. Have you ever been doxxed? It makes a lot of difference. Unless you have, you consider yourself invisible on the internet. But if you're not invisible on the internet, which none of us are, then I would certainly separate the two. Otherwise somebody talks to your boss. If you have a boss, I don't have a boss, but somebody talks to your boss and says, "Oh, I saw him do this and this and this." It's like, really? Doxing is for what purpose? Obviously, to embarrass you. You can buy it at Walmart. Why buy it at Amazon? Is that what you do with? It's what you do with info that is the issue. No, Kelp. The thing is that if I take data that you have out of context, okay, let's say that you are in a lawsuit, Kelp. Let's say you are in a lawsuit, and let's say that the lawsuit is actually a frivolous lawsuit. It doesn't really, it doesn't really mean anything. But in fact, it was filed against you, and it claimed that you're a fraud. Okay, now in the world of public opinion, you were sued for fraud, and they doxed you, and it showed up that you have a lawsuit for fraud. Now the case may have been dropped, the case may still be ongoing, the case may have been settled, but it doesn't matter. On social media, we found out that you've been sued for fraud. Okay, and if you feel that makes you very happy, then I pity you. Okay, because anyone who's semi-important, we're gonna have a lot of lawsuits like this. If you are semi-important, there will be a lot of stuff like that which are meaningless, which may not mean anything. And no, you're not adult enough. No, my gosh, have you been to Twitter, Kelp? Have you been to Facebook? People will make claims about you by taking things out of context, and no one will actually check the data. No one will actually check anything. Are you zucking kidding me? You will lose all your followers, and they say, well, this guy is a zucking liar and this and that, and then they'll do all that kind of thing for you. Okay? Now, I don't actually have anything too interesting in my real life because I've always been protective of my data on the internet. But it still bugs me that somebody could do that. And I don't really want anybody coming at my door where I have to go pull up my weapon and say, I don't want anyone coming at my door without any my knowledge, and just because I'm broadcasting. I don't like that. I don't like that. Big deal. What adult wouldn't check it out? 99.99% is not going to check it out. Okay, so Kelp is so innocent. He actually doesn't understand this. So we'll educate him on some of the people who've had some pretty sucking bad experiences here on Periscope, when somebody would actually do things like deface their home. They would actually go to somebody's home and deface it and to make you look bad. Uh, Somebody would actually order pizza, and and you're forced to pay for it, but you didn't order it. On and on and on. I can name many different examples where they would do this. Can you make a Brax version of Alexa with Bytes VPN installed? We'll call it Waldo, or better yet, work. And what Whopper? And what is it supposed to do? Anytime you build anything Alexa, you're being tracked. Send you gay mags is the best. There you go. We Fu can. So home. So yet those are crimes. I read about politicians I can't stand, but doesn't mean I toilet paper their home. Yeah. So it happens, Kelp, and apparently to you it doesn't happen. Well, I can mention many names here in Periscope where it happened to them, where things like somebody put their address on Craigslist for doing like things like what do you call this? What's the term for that? Like some group sex thing. They put their they put their information on Craig, said, hey, we do this, come at this time, and we're doing a group sex thing and at 8 p.m. on this Saturday, and you're all welcome. And they come knocking at your door. Swingers, there you go. So you have a swingers party. See, I don't do that, so I don't know that. But you're having a swingers party, somebody puts it on Craigslist, and they come knocking at your door. Now what do you do? And then they take pictures of people walking into your house. And you search group sex things for a reason. Guess they had a big turnout. So the point is, this is one of the ways that the doxing can actually translate into to something that's embarrassing, and because that is the point, is to embarrass you. Even if you shop at Whole Foods, Amazon knows your food habits. Yes, I eat a lot of fatty food. I social fit, so that's really Amazon has to know that. I eat a lot of fatty food. I'm not a vegan. Amazon knows I'm not a vegan. Amazon might even know I'm Asian. Amazon might know I'm Asian because I may have a preference for Asian food. We had a swingers weekend in Palm Springs in October. So Amazon might think I'm by the way, it's funny, I'm saying this aloud on YouTube. They don't see the comments on Periscope. They don't know that I'm reading comments on Periscope. The embarrassment is when they come knocking and I tell them to act civilized. Yeah, but somebody takes a video of them and they're half dressed and takes a video of them right outside your house and then posts it on the internet and said, this is the activity at 123 Main Street at Kelp's house. If you like your privacy, never use storage reward cards as they will track you. Yes, they do. Amazon Alexa can't understand you. Amazon Alexa can't understand you. I don't know what that means. So anyway, Kelp is too innocent here. He thinks the world is, it's simple. And unfortunately, this kind of data is extremely dangerous. And I don't like the fact that it's never been duplicated in the history of mankind that this kind of weaponized data has ever existed. It's never before existed. So all these young millennials who think there's no effect to this, you have no idea because you've never experienced it. So all you have to do is look back in the history of time and look at every dictator and every person of power and every past president and how they've abused this kind of information and see if it's can be used against you. In recent times, so let's look at examples in recent times. Obviously, the Patriot Act with every recent president, but let's go back to Nixon and how Nixon said he wanted to every gay person identified, every gay American person identified. They actually came up with a gay person list. Okay, so according to Kelp, that's talking about the past, and I guess he doesn't know what history means. to learn from your past. I guess you don't, according to Kelp, don't learn from your past. So Kelp doesn't want to learn from the past, but the rest of you do. So I'm saying to you that someone said, I want a list of X. And Nixon said that, and somebody made a list of X. In this case, gay people. So if Trump said, I want to get a list of, Soros supporters. I want to get a list of Antifa. I want to get a list of people like Kelp. No, yeah, under fear of the past. Don't. Don't have any fear of the past, Kelp, because it will never happen again. Be gay in Russia. Using the gay fear is so desperate. Okay, so if you're gay in Saudi Arabia, what now, Kelp? That is today, Kelp. You are gay in Saudi Arabia. What now? Oh, Kelp said, don't look at the past. Okay, well, now somebody in Saudi Arabia can buy the list of gay people who are in Saudi Arabia. That can be bought by the Saudi Arabian government. And Kelp's answer is, oh, that's a past. Oh, okay, then let's see Tinker. Tinker is concerned. Okay, let's look at China. Okay, now China has a social score and all this that they're trying to do. Of course, China now knows who's gay in China, or who doesn't like the government of China. You can't speak against the government in China. They'd put you in jail. But to Kelp, no big deal. But here you are in America, because you actually are not concerned about what you say in social media. You don't really care that somebody in China is actually saying, okay, we're tracking you, and we know who we don't like, and maybe will ruin your career. So I don't know. People are just so short-sighted. I know how to use data. I've been using data. One of the things that I used to do was do data analysis on medical things, medical databases. Since I built these databases on medical, and I actually built a database in medical that was sophisticated enough. I could have done AI and use it to diagnose, to come up with a diagnosis. Okay, I made those kinds of databases in medical. I can actually, instead of pre-crime, I can use it for something like diagnose you based on what the doctor entered in the data and what the tests reveal. I had enough data to do that kind of data mining. Okay, so I know what you could do with that. And because all I have to do is twist it around and say, okay, what do I know about your politics, your movements? And I told you, some of you don't even realize it, that you can be profiled so well just from where you go. And again, this is the kind of stuff that you guys have no conception about. Do you go to church on Sundays? Well, if I know what you do on Sunday, I will know that you go to church on Sunday. I will know which church. I also know who's in the church with you. I also know who you're talking to in the church. I also know your income level based on who is in the church with you. I also know where you go to school, where your kids go to school, who your friends are in school, where you shop, which market, if you go see the doctor, how often you see the doctor, and what kind of doctor you're seeing. Why would you know HIPAA in Germany, Peter? No, Kelp. The church, the IRS doesn't know what church I go to. They only know the church. They don't know who goes to the church. They don't even know if I go to church. They don't know if I go to a synagogue. They don't know if I go to a mosque. They don't know that, but Google does. And Kelp said, they don't have this kind of information. I would know you're a psychologist. Yes, if I had your location. Location's pretty deadly. considering how accurate it is, and to know that you can actually just by longitude and latitude actually identify key areas. Let's say, let me get a list. Give you an example. On Google Earth, map out every doctor's office and give me their lat and long on Google Earth. Do they have that? Yes. Okay. I want to know which persons go to those places. So now I want to see a patient list by type of doctor. Okay? So if there's an HIV specialist, I would like to know who goes to the HIV specialist. I would like them to create a list of that, and then I want to blackmail the people who go to the HIV specialist. Okay, and you're saying, well, you can't do that. Yeah, right. Sure. So Kelp is like so innocent, he doesn't even realize that somebody made a ton of money on Tesla by buying the information of all the people who work at Tesla. All they did was say, okay, I want to buy the list of people who are at Tesla at this periods of time. And then they tracked and saw that the number of people increased, so they have 30% more people at Tesla than they started with. So they said, oh, Tesla is increasing staff, therefore let's buy up some shares or some call options before the next quarterly earnings announcement, because we're now going to know that Tesla will meet their production quota, in which case their sales will go up, and we know that we will win in the stock market. So that's what actually happened. This is a real story. This actually happened, and I can imagine that whoever went long on Tesla with puts and with calls and stock, whoever went long on Tesla before the quarterly earnings announcement made a ton of money. It went up 10%. 10% it went up. So to Kelp, that's like, I don't really care what they do. Yeah, somebody just manipulated you. Somebody just made money off you. And when somebody makes money off the stock market, the rest of you don't make money in the stock market. Okay? That's the way it works. Somebody makes a big profit, somebody else does not. If you don't understand that, then you truly will not appreciate the fact that data can be used against you in simple things. That's okay. I don't want to invest in Ponzi schemes anyway. Well, it doesn't matter. You have a investment company handling your 401k, and they're investing in all these companies, including Tesla and so on. And then the Nasdaq went down. Well, somebody bought Tesla, it went up. You used to work in finance. Yes, Van. Kelp does love messing with me. So anyway, what I'm just trying to tell you is that, it's not a fair fight. It is not a fair fight. Yeah, but I thought since HIPAA is a U.S. law, why are you having serious issues, grind creation? Van is Vandal here on... I only invest my money in physical objects. So anyway, this is there's a lot of danger in our environment here, and it's scary to me that if people think along the lines of Kelp. I was in the U.S. at that time. Oh, okay. I didn't know you were in the U.S., Peter. Having a deja vu moment. So I'm here to alert you that if you are if you understand what you can do with data, then you can easily be manipulated, and especially with something like the internet. I don't know how to get the faster internet grind creations. Glitching and partial freezing is from your internet being too slow. Sorry, Rob. How many terrorist attacks have you prevented? Kelp, why ask me that? Why did you ask the government how many terrorist attacks they have prevented from the Patriot Act? Why did you ask them to account for it? How many to do near Fort Meade? Oh my gosh! To do all the surveillance of every single Zucking American, they need to have stopped, thousands of terrorist attacks, right? Well, unfortunately, that is not the case. I believe their stats are they claim they stopped one minor one. Okay, they stopped one minor one. That's what they claim. Oh, what? How many 9/11s? Oh my gosh, there's so many terrorist attacks. Oh, my ping is that doesn't mean anything, Grind. That you don't measure. You don't measure who you're pinging. That's not a measure of it. Stats are easy. None have happened. Incorrect, Kelp. There have been many, many terrorist attacks, and none of them have been found by the Patriot Act. None of them. None of them. Shooting at the nightclub, shooting in Las Vegas, shooting here and there. None of them were ever found using the Patriot Act. None. So you're Zucking lying. You're Zucking lying. They did not have any information. They were not able to predict any of it in advance at all. None. Zero. Show me one where they said, oh yeah, we prevented this, we know. Yes, there. If we all had this, and I see a Zucking terrorist, I say, this is why they do, Kelp. Okay, close your ears. Close your ears. And if anyone is afraid of a gunshot, close your ears. Because you're going to hear one right now. That's what you do to a Zucking terrorist. Happy New Year. Okay, so anyway, you know what I'm going to try to do now? What I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to stop the YouTube. I'm going to go only Periscope. So I'm not going to interrupt Periscope. I will pause the video. Periscope will have a hang for a second. Don't leave. I will be right back. It will just I'll just be gone for a few seconds, for like no more than 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna stop YouTube so I don't have to worry about the music. Okay? So don't leave. Don't leave. I'll be right